Hi all, sorry I cannot be with you. If you can get a piece of paper out for notes, we will get started. Please pause the video until everyone is ready. We are going to talk about multiplying and dividing integers. The nice thing is multiplying and dividing integers only has a couple rules, and they're the same for multiplying and dividing, whereas adding and subtracting has different rules, and we have to really pay attention to those, okay? So the biggest mistake I see students make is they confuse the multiplying and dividing rules with the adding and subtracting rules, so we just have to be very careful of that. But let's start very basic. We know 2 times 3 is 6. And we know that because if we have two groups of 3, we'd have a group of 3, and a group of 3. So that's 2 groups of 3, and we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So that's how multiplying works. Okay? Now let's throw in a negative. Let's say we have negative 2 times 3. Well, we actually do this the same. We say, okay, we have 2 times 3, which is 6. And then a negative times a positive is negative. Okay? And this works because we could say we have 3 groups of negative 2. So we would have n, and an n, and an n for our negatives. So we have 3 groups of 2 n's, which means we have 6 negatives. Okay? We could do the same as if we have 2 times negative 3. That's also negative 6. Okay? And again, we could write this as we have 2 groups of 3 n's. Okay? Which means we have 6 n's, which is why we get the answer of negative 6. Okay? Now those 3 are all pretty simple and are very easy to explain. Okay? Now the next one is where things get a little tricky. Okay? Now there's a really long explanation for this, and I'm going to show a separate video on that if you are interested. Okay? But a negative times a negative ends up being a positive number. Okay? So negative 2 times negative 3 ends up being a positive 6. Okay? So negative times a negative is a positive. And like I said, there's a very long, kind of odd explanation to that, and I will post a video if you're interested. If you're like, Miss Haas, I don't care why a negative times a negative is a positive, I just trust you, great. Just move along with your life. But if you're like, Miss Haas, I really want to know why, I'll have that video for you, okay? So in general, let's make a little table here. Okay. A positive times a positive. So remember our little dot means positive now, or times, I'm sorry. A positive times a positive is positive, and a negative times a negative is also positive. Okay? And if we have a negative times a positive or a positive times a negative, that answer is going to be negative. So in general, if we have one negative, the answer is going to be negative. If we have both positive or both negative, my answer is going to be positive. Okay? And the same thing is true for division as well. So we could make a separate table for that if we wanted to. A positive divided by a positive will still be positive. A negative divided by a negative will be positive. A negative divided by a positive will be negative. And a positive divided by a negative will be negative. Okay? Go ahead and pause that video until everyone is caught up. Let's just practice a couple more just to make sure we're on the same page. So if I have 3 times negative 5, again, I'm going to multiply like I've been multiplying my whole life. I'm going to do 3 times 5 is 15. And then I'm going to say a positive times a negative is negative. Okay. Let's practice a dividing one. So let's say we have 25 divided by negative 5. Just so you know, we're not really going to see the division sign as that much anymore. We're going to see it more as the slash or our fraction bar, okay? So 25 divided by negative 5. I know 25 divided by 5 is 5, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Also, by the way, no calculators today, okay? Excuse me. Okay, let's practice another division 1. So if we have negative 36 divided by negative 6, again, 36 divided by 6 is 6. A negative divided by a negative is positive, so my answer is positive 6. Okay, so again, the nice thing about the multiplying and dividing rules is it's the same multiplying and dividing rules you've known for a long time, right? It doesn't matter if the numbers are positive or negative. You just have to decide what the sign is going to be when it is all done. Okay? There is a worksheet posted to Google Classroom with an answer key attached to it. Please do the problems and check your work. I will also post some Khan Academy assignments for you. Please screenshot them and send them to me for Classroom Cash. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.